Hi, my name is Derek Seriam Vomao. I am the lead at Platinum Africa Solutions Limited. I work as a business consultant helping entrepreneurs who are entering different markets in Africa to strategize, to organize and globalize, and also become profitable in these markets. So over the past years, I've been able to help startups not just based in Ghana, but also in Nigeria, Kenya, and also those in the diaspora who are entering different businesses or entering different markets within the West African region and also the East African region as well. And I live in Germany, where I study an MSc in Web and Data Science. And I'm also working here as an international marketing strategist for social media planning, corporate communications, and basically marketing. So I'm very excited about getting to talk about entrepreneurship, my journey, some lessons that I've learned, and then some key things that you could pick with you to become an outstanding entrepreneur and also to run a sustainable business, most importantly. Now, the big question, why entrepreneurship? Why entrepreneurship? Because we've got to a time where we see a lot of entrepreneurs coming up. We see a lot of people running businesses. With a phone, a tablet, or a laptop, it's so easy to open a business from wherever you are in this world. But the big question is this really what entrepreneurship is about? Because we find a lot of entrepreneurs creating solutions people don't need, creating products and services people don't require. So then, again, the question, is this what entrepreneurship is about? But before I answer this question, I will answer why entrepreneurship. What entrepreneurship? Because we need more solutions, not just more solutions, we need better solutions now. That is why we have different products for the same industry. We have different players because when one person releases a solution to solve a certain customer's problem, another person thinks about a better solution. And that is where innovation comes to play. So entrepreneurship, because through entrepreneurship, we are able to create viable solutions that people need to solve many of their problems, right? And I'll get to talk about the concept of entrepreneurial design thinking during the course of my presentation today. Because, like I said, it's not just about creating a certain product or a service which solves a problem, but rather creating a product or service through the proper process, which is design thinking process, where you are thinking like the customer or you are thinking like the consumer. So you are creating a certain relatable solution for the customer's problem. So in the end, what we are encouraging more entrepreneurs to do is to not just see it as a business venture, but through entrepreneurship, we are able to make the world even a better place. Because it's not just about business entrepreneurship, but also there's social entrepreneurship, where we are solving most of society's problems. So that is one thing to understand about the essence of entrepreneurship. Now, back to answering the question I asked about if what we see nowadays happening is what entrepreneurship should be about. No, not entirely. Because it goes beyond entrepreneurship when you are installing a certain business solution in a certain market. Right? Because then there is the business aspect of things, there's the entrepreneurial aspect of things, and then there is the organizational aspect of things. And you have to attack all of these with different strategies in different ways. I'll talk more about that subsequently. Now, here are some things that I'll share with you, what to consider when you're starting the journey afresh. If I had a chance to start all over again, these are some of the things I would do better this time around. And so please pay attention. The first thing is seek market information. That's also connected to doing market research. You know, we have something in the normal language or the normal sayings that we have that what you don't know won't kill you. But in business or in entrepreneurship, what you don't know will kill you. Because it's either you know it or you don't know it. For example, having access to market information, what is happening within the industry. Because you don't just wake up and enter a certain industry and decide to become a player. You need to understand what's happening. You need to understand what have been the trends. What are the customers looking for? What are their pain points? What is the market looking like? What is the projection for the next 5 years? Because I always ask entrepreneurs that if you are starting a business, ask yourself, would my business still make sense 5 years from now? We saw what happened in 2020. It tested and tried a lot of business models. Because most people realize that their business models were not sound enough. They didn't have any technological substance in their business model to be able to scale up and become relevant even when things went sour like it did in 2020. So that's one thing to understand. Seek market information. The second thing is seek guidance. Sometimes you could hire a consultant, you could have a mentor, you could try to intern in a certain company just to see how things are done, right? Be smart about these things. Be smart about how you are seeking guidance, because you are entering a certain space that have players already. People are in this space way ahead of time, or way ahead of you before you decided to start. So you need to seek guidance. And seeking guidance, you have to be very strategic. Sometimes learn how to not look at those ahead of you as competitors, but look at them more as mentors and collaborators, because that is how you can achieve more right now. No business exists in isolation. And one of the problems that entrepreneurs have had in the past is collaboration, lack of collaborations. You understand? So if you don't have collaborations, if you don't have the understanding of how to collaborate with other businesses, you will not be able to go far in business. Thirdly, apply the principles of design thinking. Like I said, think like the customer. And in this phase, you are also thinking like in relation to choosing your customers, right? You have to choose your customers. That's one of the things that I didn't know from the start. So I was like a consultant for just any startup, just anybody. But then subsequently, I realized that no, I cannot serve everybody in a perfect way. I have my limitations as a consultant. I have my strongholds, right? And I have to capitalize on them. And they are for a certain niche, a certain customer segment. So you have to choose your customers wisely. In terms of design thinking, when I talk of design thinking, basically you are being solution oriented when it comes to creating the product or service. So, okay, what is the problem of the customer? What are their pain points? What are they currently exposed to? Why don't they feel satisfied about that? What do they need, or what kind of elements do you have to embed in the product that solves the exact problem that they have? Right. So in this case, you're not thinking for the customers that, okay, let's release this product for them because it's summer. No, you are thinking like the customer. If I were the customer in summer, if I'm wearing boots, what would I want from the boot? How would I want to feel like in the boots? How would I want my feet to feel in the boots? So then you are thinking like the customer. If you are thinking like the customer, it's the same way as thinking in the line of, okay, as opposed to creating a certain product for the customer because you feel like, okay, let's put this amount of sugar in there, because that's what will make the cake taste sweet. Then you are thinking like the customer by doing, okay, by saying, if I was the customer, I wouldn't want too much sugar because I'm possibly watching my sugar intake. You know, that's your niche market. So then I would reduce it to this percentage and all of that. So that is how you are thinking like the customer. So don't think for the customer. Apply the principles of design thinking. If you don't know much about it, please Google it, watch videos on YouTube to learn more. Fourthly, go to market and adjust where they need be. You, upon all the planning and all the strategies, you will never know whether they work until you implement them in the market. So just go to market, and when you go to the market, you'll be able to learn on the job, like most people say. If you're starting a new job, you learn on the job. So go to market and just go for it. Be very vigilant, be very strategic in your learning. Pay attention to the feedback. Don't be enticed about the positive feedback. Try to look out for the negative feedback as well, so you can improve what you're doing. And that is what is most important when it comes to learning. You learn because you want to improve. You learn because you want to make things better for the customer. Now, the third point I'll share is choose your team, but learn to build people up. Most often we preach the message of being selective with the people that you work with because you want the best people. But sometimes the best people come not looking like the best people. I've had that experience. When I started my company, my team that I have right now, most people have worked with me for over 4 or 5 years. And these are people who came in as amateurs. They didn't know the job. I had to teach them the job. And then now, some of them are reading their master's program in SME promotions. They are consulting for the clients. They are coming up with strategies. So imagine I had cut them off in the beginning because they didn't look that refined. I would have lost loyal people that were meant to stay in my company. So choose your team, but learn to build people up. Now, the next thing is be strategic, but learn to implement strategies. A lot of people build strategies like castles in the air. Oh, I'm going to do this. This is what I plan to do. But in reality, they cannot implement it. So learn to implement. Work on your implementation strategy, I would say. So how do I implement the strategies that I formulate in business? And basically, when I talk about strategy, I always use this example that it's like, here I am, and I want to get to that place, or I want to get here from here. How do I get there from here? The how becomes a strategy. You understand? But it's not now just about the how, but with whom do I get to that place with? That is what you're implementing. So how am I implementing the how? So do I have to call somebody? Do I have to change my logo? Do I have to rebrand? Do I have to hire a consultant? Do I have to conduct market research? That's how you're implementing the strategy that you formulated. So it's not just about formulating strategies. Nobody has got to the top by having the best strategies, but everybody, or those who have got to the top, have been able to do so because they implement the right strategies. They also measure it. So it's like doing control. You are controlling the situations happening as in alignment with what you had initially formulated, so you can determine the undesirable trends and correct them at an early stage. And that is what implementation is about. Lastly, choose your technology, but don't forget the human touch. Technology has come to play a huge part in our lives right now. Everything is being done with technology. So choose the kind of technology that you're going to embed in your business model so you can get work done faster and better. Because one tip I share with most entrepreneurs is that I feel there are 4 things that customers are looking for right now. 1, every customer wants to save time. 2, every customer wants someone to trust. 3, every customer wants to save cost, right? And then the 4th thing is every customer needs some sort of consistency in all of these deliveries. So then how are you using technology to serve the customer's pain points like I've mentioned? Time, cost, trust, and then consistency. You understand? So how do you use technology to do this? So you have to choose your technology. And in technology choosing, it's not just about the software, but also the hardware, right? So is there any sort of hardware that you're using or you're embedding in your business model to be able to solve the problems and make the client experience even better? Because now we are selling more of the client experience than just the product or service. How clients experience the brand on and offline. Pay attention to that. So I'll give you some basics as to why I personally even started my business. For me, it was more about the need. I felt like there was a need for someone like me, even though I didn't have much experience back then. Had not gone to school for it. I was studying a banking and finance bachelor at the time, but then I had passion for entrepreneurship. I had passion to talk to people, to get to understand the reasons why things happen the way they do, what could be done better, strategy formulation and stuff. These things came to me quite naturally. So I just needed to polish my skill in this and then be able to do more. And by doing more, I learned more on the job. So my knowledge that I've acquired so far in business has been from scratch, has been a natural process of learning for me. And that's why I understand things the way I understand them. And also the purpose. I felt like my purpose as a person, and then also now when I created my company, Platinum Africa Solutions Limited, our key purpose was to bridge the gap. We want to bridge the gap between where our clients are and where they want to get to. That's why we are strategists. So basically, where is our client right now? As far as they want to get to, we help them get there. And even in most cases, we help them formulate that vision. Where do we go to from here? Because in business, one thing I've learned is you always need to know your next best move. And after each next best move, you need to know the next best move. That's one thing. And in summary, I would part with some few words from my personal journey, my experience so far. And one of them is learn to invest in yourself. You find most entrepreneurs selling a certain skill, service, or product, and you realize that they are not very skillful. They don't understand properly what they are actually selling. They don't have the knowledge. They have the passion, but passion is not enough. Just like love is not enough for a relationship or marriage. You need to understand a lot of things. You need to know a lot of things. And sometimes what you don't know, you don't know. So you need to know a lot of things as an entrepreneur. Invest in yourself, read books, attend conferences, seek guidance and mentorship. Learn, go back to school if you can. And you can definitely manage it. Sometimes people give the excuse of time, but a man begins to die when they stop learning. So keep learning, invest in yourself, travel, see different things, see new places, get fresh perspectives. The world is so big. There are different markets. You could expand anywhere. So just invest in yourself in that regard. Secondly, know your strengths and capitalize on them. Know what you can do. You cannot do everything. And that is why you need to build a team. So when you're building a team because you want people to complement your strengths. You want people to come in to also make up for your weaknesses. So if you are great at production but not good at marketing, you need a marketing person. If you are great at marketing but not good at the production, you need a production person. You understand? So learn to build your people with your weaknesses, and then learn to also build them up with your strength. Because if you invest in the people that you work with, they in turn give back to you. I've seen that clearly. I've seen that very much in my journey. So know your strengths. And in knowing your strength, you have to test it. So practice what you know. Be so good that people will sit in meetings and they cannot forget your name because you are good at what you do. Invest your time in being good at what you do. And know your strengths, like I said, and capitalize on them. The third thing is design the kind of company you want to build. And this is one of the things I love about organizational behaviors or building organizations from scratch. You could actually create something, because an organization is an entity. An entity exists in our head. It's not something that is visible. It's something we know exists. And it's registered. There's a proof for it. But you could actually, instead of leaving fate to determine how your company becomes, you could design it. And in designing it, you have to know, okay, what are the kind of people I want in my company? What kind of work culture do I want here? How do I want my people to grow? How do I want people to be compensated? How do I want people to reach the higher management if they have a problem? How do I want people to be able to understand the strategy and implement it? You understand? And these are things that you need to understand in order to create and design the kind of company you want. So if you were the employee, how would you want your work environment to be like? How would you want to feel safe and peaceful working in such a company? Because when people are coming to work with you, they are entrusting their time, their life, and their career path into your hands. So you need to not take it for granted. So design the kind of company you want. And in order to do this, you can actually also hire a consultant to help you, do this, or put together a management team on a board level to design, okay, what kind of company do we want to build at XYZ, for example. Now, the next thing is don't settle for less. Less is stressful. Anytime I've had to settle for less, it ended up stressing me, because the people that make you settle for their less are those that come to disturb you. The clients that come make you settle for less are the clients that harass you. So don't settle for less. If you know your value and if you know what you can put to the table, project that, and don't ever settle for less. You would really blame yourself for it if you do so. The next thing is take your time, but don't waste time. Most often people wait for the right or perfect time. It will never come. Perfect times don't exist unless you create them or you make them come into being. So take your time. Don't rush the process of building your business. Don't rush. If you have a forever to go, you don't rush things. It's only when you have a short term, it's like you want this for just 6 months, you are in a hurry. But don't be too much in a hurry. Try to take it easy, learn through the process. Don't compete with anybody, even mentally in your head. There's no need to compete. It's a big world. It's a big business environment. You definitely have a place in there. So take your time to do things, serve clients well. If you cannot meet some deadlines or timelines, communicate it effectively. If the client is okay with it, fine. If they are not, let them move to whoever can do it within the time frame that they have. Be honest about your progress. Be honest about your pace, the pace at which you are progressing as a company. Learn to tame your growth. Don't grow too fast, neither should you grow too slow. So take your time, but don't waste time. The next thing is failure is part of the success. Yes, before anything becomes successful, there are tests. And there are tests because the first test may have failed, the second test may have failed, maybe the third test succeeded. That's how we learn. So look at failure like it's part of the roadmap. It's part of, actually, the best way to learn is when you fail. You cannot compare someone who has failed on the job and has done better by learning to someone who has learned it in the classroom. You cannot compare these two. You cannot put them in the same category. It's different. Because when you fail, there's a whole lot that you learn from failing. So embrace failure and do not stop or don't lag behind. Don't wait and waste time because you're afraid to fail. Just give it a go and see how it goes. You'd never know. That's one lesson I've learned in life. Now, the last thing I'll add is, for once, believe in yourself that you can do something. Sometimes we want validation from people before we make a move. But people are just like us too. The people you want validation from also seek validation from others. So believe in what you are selling. Believe in what you are developing. And in believing in it, I mean to say you are constantly trying to improve yourself, improve the solution for the market segment that you are selling to. So if you believe in it, there's a way you sell what you believe because you know it works. But that also requires time. So you invest time into what you are developing. It's like rehearsing for a show. If you're an artist, if you don't rehearse, when you get on the stage, you are nervous because you've not rehearsed. You don't know how things are going to turn out. But if you've rehearsed for 10 times for a certain particular performance, you are confident, you believe that you're going to deliver, you know what's coming, and you act accordingly, right? So believe in yourself, but also that means that you are investing time in doing the right thing so that you are ready for the opportunities that come your way. And these are some of the nuggets I'll share with you today. And I hope that you implement these things. You shouldn't just be listeners of these things, but try to implement them into your lifestyle, your entrepreneurial journeys, and then you should see results, right? So in summary, if there's nothing you would even take from this presentation, or if you've forgotten anything, one of the things that I wouldn't want you to forget is choose your customers, choose your team, choose your technology, choose the things that matter to the business. And overall, ask yourself the big question: what really matters to your company? What really matters to you as an entrepreneur? Is it to make money? Because there are different ways to make money, but is that the ultimate goal? Or is it to impact society? Is it to make the world better? Is it to leave a certain legacy behind that people could continue? So what really matters to you as an entrepreneur? There's no better time than now to do what you have to do. The time is ticking. Tick all your boxes. Thank you very much. My name has been Derek. Thanks for listening and staying with me.